You've built your raised bed, filled it with quality soil, planted your crops, and even spotted a few earthworms early on, but weeks later, you dig around and realize something's missing. The worms are gone, or worse, they never really stayed. It's a frustrating experience for any gardener trying to cultivate healthy, living soil. At Hydrohaven, we've seen this pattern play out over and over, especially in newer raised beds. What many gardeners don't realize is that their raised bed, despite looking full and fertile, might actually be starving earthworms. And if the worms are suffering, your soil ecosystem is too. The number one reason worms abandon a raised bed is lack of food, not for themselves directly, but for the microbes they feed on. Worms don't just eat organic matter, they rely on a rich buffet of bacteria, fungi, and partially decomposed material to survive. Many raised beds are filled with soil blends that look healthy but are biologically shallow. Sterile topsoil, bagged potting mixes, and even overly sifted compost often lack the microbial diversity and organic complexity worms need. Without a steady flow of decomposing material, microbial life doesn't thrive, and when microbes are missing, worms have no reason to stay. Another problem is the clean gardening habit. Many gardeners are so diligent about keeping their beds tidy that they inadvertently remove all worm food. Spent leaves, fallen petals, trimmed plant stems, and even light mulch get tossed in the bin instead of being returned to the soil. In nature, worms live under a thick, messy mat of organic debris. In your raised bed, that debris is crucial. When every bit of organic matter is removed, the topsoil dries out, microbes disappear, and the soil quickly becomes uninviting. What looks neat above ground is often barren below it. Moisture imbalance is another major factor. Worms need consistent, even moisture to breathe through their skin. Raised beds, by design, tend to drain faster and dry out quicker than in-ground beds, especially when made from wood or metal that absorbs and radiates heat. Even with daily watering, the surface layer of soil can become too dry for worms to safely navigate, particularly if there's no mulch. And without a moist upper layer, they retreat or die off. This becomes worse when watering is shallow or inconsistent. Worms follow moisture zones, and if those zones don't exist in your bed, neither will they. Many gardeners also overlook the effect of compaction and lack of soil structure. Even though raised beds often start fluffy and aerated, over time they can settle into hard layers, especially when heavy watering or foot pressure is applied. When soil compacts, oxygen levels drop and microbial life suffocates. The fine particles in peat-based mixes and screened compost can lead to crusting, especially near the surface, creating a barrier that worms can't easily penetrate. Without structure, airflow, and microbial activity, your bed becomes just another container of dirt. So how do you fix it? The first step is to reintroduce a steady flow of organic matter, and not just the finished kind. Add chopped leaves, spent garden trimmings, banana peels, and soft plant residues directly onto the soil surface. Top that with a gentle mulch layer made from shredded leaves or straw to retain moisture and protect microbial life. This dynamic mix becomes an active feeding zone for worms and the microbes they rely on. If you want to speed up the process, pour in a little fermented rice water or diluted worm casting tea. This will jumpstart microbial activity without overwhelming the system. Next, focus on rebuilding your soil structure. Mix in coarse, unfinished compost, decomposed wood chips, or rotted straw to create porosity and biological texture. Avoid overly processed materials or finely sifted mixes that lack body. Soil that breathes is soil that supports life. Worms thrive in pathways filled with air and moisture, and they need soft, forgiving spaces to move through. Loosen the top few inches with a fork or by hand without deep tilling, and layer organic matter into the surface where worms naturally feed. Moisture management also needs a second look. Instead of relying on occasional deep watering, aim for consistent, even moisture across the entire bed. Use mulch not just to conserve water but to help regulate temperature and prevent surface crusting. If you're in a hot climate or your bed gets direct sun, consider shading young plants temporarily while worms re-establish themselves beneath the surface. Remember, worms follow comfort. If your bed feels like a furnace or desert, they won't hang around. If your raised bed is brand new or isolated from natural soil, worms may not even have a way in. In that case, you'll need to introduce them manually. But don't just dump them into dry, lifeless soil. Make sure you've prepped the bed with organic matter, mulch and moisture so they can settle in and begin working immediately. Red wigglers or night crawlers can both thrive in raised beds if conditions are right, but they need a consistent food web to support them. The biggest lesson here is that worms are not just passengers in your garden, they are partners. If they're not present or not thriving, something in your soil system is broken. By returning to the basics of soil biology, feeding microbes, protecting structure, and mimicking nature's flora, you can rebuild an environment that worms want to live in. Once they're back, they'll start turning organic matter into castings, aerating soil, and supporting root growth without you lifting a finger. If this guide helped you spot what might be starving worms in your garden beds, be sure to subscribe to HydroHaven and share this video with other growers. When your raised bed becomes a home for worms, it transforms into a living system. And that's when the real gardening magic begins.